Well, I think you're even overstating it. Frankly, the impact that you guys have now, I think, we talked a little bit, you mentioned, when we chatted before, make sure to ask you about what was going on with the banks and how you started. So let me just give you guys a little bit of the calendar of events for like the last 2 months. So the day before Thanksgiving, General Paxton's office, led by Brent, and along with 11 other states, maybe Oklahoma joined you afterwards, so maybe it's 12 now, I can't understand, but filed this suit against BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard under the Clayton Act for their intervention in the coal market. Now, within weeks, what might seem unrelated at first, members of the Net Zero Banking Alliance, not the asset managers, the bankers, start dropping like flies from that group. Wells Fargo, Citi, JP Morgan, Goldman, every day, every 2-3 days, they're coming out of the Well, then, just the first few days of January, you have BlackRock, the Net Zero Asset Managers. But that was less surprising, right? Because they get sued for antitrust violations. Well, then the next day, the Net Zero Asset Managers shuts down operations completely. And at the time that BlackRock, they still have like 90 members. I don't know what the number is. I think my deputy Bo has. And the website has been archived, so no one's getting away from it. They took down everything, and they said, "Well, we're not gone, but we're gonna go check our operations, for reasons." Right? They didn't say the lawsuit, but the reasons. We'll come back when we figured it out. Now, with that table setting a little bit, because there's the lawsuit, and then there was some stuff you mentioned to me going on with the banks that was adjacent to that. And then it all kind of fed into it. So it's a little complicated. But hopefully that gives you the table setting of the last 6 months. Tell them about what was going on behind the scenes with Texas and the banks. Because you had a different conversation related to antitrust stuff, but it also included some Texas laws, and you got some huge results.
We're not recording this, right?
No.
Okay, well, I'll speak freely. Please don't quote me, because I'll tell the inside story on this. So when we approached this case, we decided we're going to bring a holistic problem-solving approach, which I like to bring to all of our solutions. What are all the tools in our toolbox when tackling ESG? And we literally went through our list. We have our consumer laws, we have our antitrust laws, we have criminal laws, right? There may be some criminal implication here. We have some banking laws. And then we have this nice tool that the Texas legislature is given us. Jason, I think you voted on these, and your wife may have, Representative Isaac, who's here as well. Thank you guys, by the way, for what you've done for Texas. So they gave us this really nice tool that allows the Attorney General's office to block banks from the bond market. Okay? So the bond market in every state is massive, because bonds, that's how your ISDs, your counties, your cities, that's how they largely fund a lot of their building projects. And in Texas, we have a good bond rating, so banks want to invest billions of dollars in Texas. And so the legislature gave us this tool that said, if you're going to discriminate against the energy industry or against guns, we're going to kick you out of that bond market. Okay? Now, before I got there, for those who don't know, I'm kind of aggressive. I was a prosecutor for years. I fired a lot of people that were anti-me. I've paid a lot of prices for firing people, but I believe in staying on mission and focused on winning. And so I came in and I was like, well, I think we need to kick these people out of the bond market because they're discriminating against the oil industry and against guns. And you would believe how these government lawyers in my age are like, oh, the whole bond market will shut down. I mean, they will all leave and we'll have no one funding our bonds. And I was like, there is no way they're going to turn down all the money they're making on the bond market here. It's like a controlled market. They're making a profit. It's a guaranteed income for them that helps them shore up other parts of their business. This makes no sense to me why they would just bail. But I had another thought, because I was a lawyer, I was a prosecutor, I'm a trial lawyer. I was like, none of these companies want to get into depositions with us. Like, give me a deposition. I'm gonna go through their emails. This is gonna be devastating for their case against us if they sue us. Well, that won the day eventually. I had to have a lot of arguments. Look, I'll be honest with you, I tell people in our office that still don't like what we're doing because they're so afraid of how this is gonna hurt Texas and hurt teacher retirement. It's crazy the imaginary things these people think of. So we pushed hard on this. And before we sued BlackRock, we notified all these banks that we think that being a member of the Net Zero Banking Alliance, it may be a cartel and you may be discriminating against the energy industry, and we're going to put you on notice that you need to let us know how you're not discriminating against the energy industry. So that started, and that was on all the banks. That was Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, Bank of America. We also did similar things with guns as well, which there were some interesting conversations on that front. So the process began, and over, I think, a year period, everyone provided a response to us. One of the banks, though, went to the governor's office, and that bank, Wells Fargo, operates in Texas. And look, they have a lot of employees in Texas. They have a lot of business in Texas. We like having their business. So they went to the governor. The governor doesn't know as much at this time about, and I'm not Governor Abbott, he's a great guy, but he didn't know much about our strategy with the bonds. So he sits down in his dining room in his house with me and Ken Paxton and his general counsel and all of Wells Fargo. And they do this big pitch of, hey, can you guys just let us get in the bond market again? We're so good for Texas. I let it play out, and I'm the smallest guy in the room. I mean, we got Ken Paxton, we got Greg Abbott. They're doing most of the talking. And Greg Abbott's like, maybe we can get him back in the bond market, Ken. And so I'm just waiting for my moment to jump in. And really appropriately jump in, too, because, I'm lower ranking. Well, hey, one more idea. I mean, this is one way to solve it, Governor. But another way to solve it, I think, could be that Wells Fargo could just leave the Net Zero Banking Alliance, and then we can reinstate the bond market. Well, at that point, Governor Abbott's like, well, maybe that is a solution. What do y'all think? And so all of a sudden, Wells Fargo went from winning to massively losing. They all turned bright red, and they said, well, that seems to be an antitrust violation if we were to leave. And I go, that's not how that works. I go, you guys know how close, do you know how close you are to being sued right now for this being an antitrust violation? Which they weren't ready for that comment to be made, because they thought this was like just a GR meeting. And so they're still turning red, and then we need to talk to our lawyers about this. And I go, great, just vote the idea. And Governor was like, yeah, let's talk about this more. So great conversation, love the plot twist. Fast forward, we sue BlackRock. And I've been waiting for this day. I have the phone number for the guy from Wells Fargo. I call him up. I go, hey, can you start filing? He goes, no. And I go, hey, pull it up. And I send him the link. And I go, you need to read this, because you guys might be next. They left a week later. They left the Net Zero Banking Alliance, and then all the banks followed. So they're all deathly afraid of being sued, because my underlying theory stands. None of them want to be subject to depositions. None of them want to be subject to discovery. So you're going to see interesting trends on these things. And I would encourage you guys, anybody who has power over state enforcers or influence over state subpoena power, they do not want to respond to your subpoenas. They know that what's in there is not good for them. So just keep that in mind. If you have any influence over that, states should be ramping up right now their enforcement actions, both at the legislative level and also at the executive level.